Hey everybody, it's Innovision. And as gamers, we know no multiplayer gaming setup is complete without a high quality gaming microphone. And in any of my gaming setups, I never settle for anything short of excellence, and neither should you. That's why I'm here to talk to you about the Fifine AM8 dynamic microphone. This is possibly one of the best gaming microphones I've tested, especially given the price. And in order to prove it, I put together my own audio test bed, complete with signal processing algorithms, and I'm gonna compare it against a much more expensive gaming microphone. Full disclosure here, my friends over at Fifine sent me this microphone to test and review, and I'm so glad they did. Stick around, cause you don't wanna miss any of it. As we get started, for those of you who are just joining us, I've been posting tech, toys, and gaming related content for going on 2 years now. And in this time, I've received several product samples ranging from gaming hardware to gaming chairs, solid state drives, gaming cases, and now microphones. One thing that makes our reviews stand out here is I put the product through its paces. In fact, I will test the product extensively before I even report it to you. And if it's not high quality, I'm not even going to share it. One of the things I pride our content on is I put a lot of thought into how I'm going to analyze and test the quality and performance of products. With this microphone, it was no different. I had to think outside of the box. How can I analyze and quantify the performance? And we'll get into more of that later in the video of how I did the analysis. But one thing I can tell you outright, for the money, this is probably the best gaming microphone you can get in terms of features, build quality, audio quality. For the rest of the video, we're gonna unbox it. We're gonna go over some of the features, and then I'm gonna share my test bed and experiment that I was able to tease out the performance characteristics. All right, let's get started. All right, it's time for the fun part. It's time to open it. As we open this, I just want to note this microphone comes in 3 different color palettes. There's the standard black, it comes in pink and white. So when they asked me which color I wanted, I had to go with white because I already have a black microphone, and I feel like the white will really match my tablecloth out in my gaming room. Wow. This feels really sturdy, very nice quality here. And so it looks like I'll be able just to attach this base here. And just like that, I'm pretty much ready to go. One thing that's really nice about the USB cable it comes with, it's got the ability to go straight to USB Type-C, and then it's got an adapter that makes it go for USB Type-A connections. And so this is very handy. No matter what setup you're using, you're gonna be able to use this microphone. So look at that. The lighting is beautiful, non-invasive, very light. It's got an XLR output, so you can hook it up to your preamp. We've got a couple controls here when you flip it over. This one toggles RGB lighting configuration. You long press to turn it off. You long press to turn it back on. We've got a knob here for controlling the gain for the microphone, and then this knob is for controlling the volume for your headphones while you're monitoring it. And then back here on the top, we've got a green indicator light that lets you know that the microphone's active. When you tap on it, it turns red to let you know that the microphone's disabled. But I love this modern, simple design. The base is very sturdy. There's no chance of knocking it over. So I don't have any expensive audio equipment. I know that there's equipment out there to help and analyze audio quality, but I am a scientist and an engineer, and so I leaned into my signal processing knowledge and ability to come up with a repeatable experiment. So the experiment effectively consists of placing the microphones at a set distance from a sound source. And so we have a sound source, a Bluetooth speaker, and then a receiver, which is the microphone. And so I used a fixed distance, the same height and angle. I tuned the gain for both of the microphones to be in the middle of the range. If I had more time, more interesting data points would include no gain, the middle range, as well as the max gain. In order to do this, I have to use a purely digital waveform or pure digital sound. I can't take a recording of someone's voice because it's already been through a microphone. The signal's already been decimated. I use this audio clip right here to play back at the fixed distance. Another thing that would be interesting over time, you could vary the distance of your microphones as well. But I had to balance between also practical time to be able to implement and and share the analysis with everyone. With the experiment, I conducted it at night while there's no other ambient sounds. I made sure there's no fans going, there's no air conditioning going. We play back the audio, which is our source or ground truth. While we're playing it back, we're recording with our microphone, but there's going to be delays in time. So the source might start earlier than the recording using the microphone. And so I use a phase correlation to align the two signals and then trim off the white space before and after the actual audio playback loop. I normalize the audio signals so that all their volumes are the same. Then finally, I compute the peak signal to noise ratio. And so you can think of peak signal to noise ratio or your signal to noise ratio. Imagine you're in a restaurant. It's very noisy, it's very busy, and there's a lot of people talking around you, but there's somebody sitting across the table from you. Well, your signal to noise ratio is how well you're able to distinguish your conversation with the person who's sitting right across the table from you. So I conducted this analysis with the Fifine AM8 as well as this more expensive high-end gaming microphone. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to share the results of this analysis. So what we have on the screen here, 2 plots with subplots, and the one on the left here is the test ran with the webcam microphone. You can think of the webcam microphone as the low end here. And then on the right, we've got a plot with subplots of the Fifine AM8. In both of these plots, the topmost plot is the original waveform or the Mario death sound. In the middle, we've got the recorded sample that came from the microphone. And at the bottom, we've got peak signal to noise ratio. For the webcam, we've got a peak signal to noise ratio of 17.73 decibels. And then with the Fifine AM8, we've got 19.86 decibels. This is a non-linear scale. Every one is actually 10. The way to look at it is the Fifine AM8 is 20 points higher than a webcam microphone. Another thing to keep in mind is that point microphones tend to have lower peak signal to noise ratio compared to more expensive high-end equipment. And that means that you really need the microphone right in your face while you're talking to it. And so the further our audio source is from the microphone, the more degraded it's going to be. And that's really one of the key points of this experiment. Now I want to take a look at the Fifine AM8 versus this more expensive gaming microphone. Same style plots here. So on the left, we've got the more expensive microphone. On the right, we've got the AM8. And the top subplot is the original waveform or the Mario death sound. The middle plot is the recorded audio from the microphone. And then the bottommost plot is our peak signal to noise ratio. And taking a look at our peak signal to noise ratio, it becomes apparent that not only is the AM8 comparable to the more expensive gaming microphone, it's actually performing slightly better. It might look like a small amount, but this is like a 4% performance improvement. So not only is it less than half the price, it performs better. The build quality is superior. One thing I want to call out, this microphone is considered a high-end gaming microphone, and it's more than double the price of the Fifine AM8. In fact, this one's about 130 bucks. One thing that's super annoying about this microphone, when it's lit up, it's got RGB lighting across this whole thing. It just goes through a rainbow effect. It doesn't let you configure how the color is going to be. One of the things I like about the Fifine AM8 is that you can actually cycle through different presets and adjust the colors. This one is so easy to knock over. I can't tell you how many times I got up and then I find it knocks down, makes a loud thud sound. Super annoying. So you don't even have to take my word for it. The data here speaks for itself. For those of you who are in the market for a high quality gaming microphone that doesn't break your budget, I've got a link to the AM8 in the description of the video. If you use my Amazon link, note that it is an affiliate link and I get a small commission for the sale at no extra cost to you. Now I'm actually thinking about finalizing this code and posting it up on my GitHub at some point. If there's enough interest, let me know. You know, this took me about an hour worth of work to put together this tooling, but it took me weeks of thinking of the experiment. I kid you not. There you have it. This microphone is an incredible bargain for what you're getting. I'd like to thank our friends over at Fifine for sending me this unit to review. I'm hyped to have it as part of my gaming gear. I've actually had some folks reach out about doing podcasts. I think this is a beautiful microphone to include in the podcast setup. How many of you out there are in the market for a gaming microphone? How many of you out there are actually audio experts? If you have some advice on ways I can improve this audio test bench, let me know. I'd love to hear all about it. And let me know what your favorite part of the video is. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hype the video. That way you don't miss all the amazing tech, toys, and gaming tips we've got coming down the pipeline.